Hello, how you guys doing today? Good morning. Thank you all for having me. You know, I must start first and foremost by thanking the creator. I want to thank Don Hancock for recommending me. Perfect. I'm still gonna do these things over the mic on. I want to thank CreativeMornings for this opportunity. Perfect. And I want to thank my good friend Robin Robinson. Amazing, iconic journalist who's here this morning with us. So chance. Let's talk about chance. There are many definitions to chance. And a definition of chance on dictionary.com is a possibility or probability of anything happening. So, in 2012, when I was 23, I found myself barely able to get myself up off the floor. It was as if life had pulled its rug from under me. I entered this very dark place. I went from performing all over Chicago and New York and across the country to teaching on faculty for a time at a young women's high school and having my own after-school program at an elementary school. From doing that and touring in Europe, performing in Amsterdam and London independently without a sponsor, but creating it my own way with my friends. All of this prior to 2012 where I'm in this space. And I would wake up and have to go to class at Harold Washington College and not have the motivation to go to my classes. Not because I didn't want to go to school, but because I just was so confused about where I was at in my life. It didn't make sense to me. Just the semester before I was at Columbia College, I had already been at Harold Washington and took my general eds and all these things. Why am I back repeating the same thing? And there was a voice in my head telling me that there was no purpose to life. So as I'm in this dark space, everything that I had ever done before didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was like, okay, well today, where is this going? All I ever wanted to do was rap. I found myself doing much more than rap. And now it's 2012 and it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen or when I thought it should happen. So now I don't even want to rap anymore. So then what do I want to do? I was depressed. And so I told my African American history professor, I asked to meet with her in her office. She's great teacher. And I told her, I said, Professor, I'm withdrawing from your class. Not because you're not a great teacher, not because I don't like what I'm learning in this class, not because it's too difficult or because it's too hard, but I'm withdrawing from your class because I don't have the motivation that I need to succeed in my classes. I'm not only withdrawing from your class, I'm withdrawing from all of my classes. I'm an A student when I want to be and a B student when I try, and I don't even have it in me to try. So to get less than a B in any of my classes, I don't even need to be in school. Like, you don't know, and she just listened, and I'm like, I know you probably think I'm just, just came up to this, like, this is not even my first experience in college, Professor. Like, I was just at Columbia last semester. In 2006, I started college in New York City at Marymount Manhattan. I've been blessed to go around the world, but I don't see anything. I don't see a reason. Like, I just don't understand. I'm withdrawing from your class. And she told me, you know, in life, things happen. Things that we don't plan, things that are unexpected. She's older, much older than me. And she's like, and one thing that I've learned is that you have to keep moving, no matter what happens. She began to tell me a story about when she was in college, and then she got married, and then she got pregnant, and she had all these dreams, and that she had to continue, and then she had her first child, and her second child, and her third child, and all these things, but she still wanted to get her PhD. And at the time, in 2012, she was still finishing up her dissertation. So from this conversation, it inspired me, and I could discern, and she told me also, she said, if you're gonna rap, then if you're gonna rap, do it seriously. If you're gonna go to school, go do it seriously. If you're gonna do both, do them both seriously, but whatever you're gonna do it seriously because you owe it to yourself. And I walked out of my professor's office like knowing that she believed in me. And her believing in me to make a decision to keep moving forward gave me the courage I needed to believe in myself. So I walked out and decided I wasn't going to withdraw from her class, or any of my classes. I ended up finishing that semester with a 3.5 GPA. But before that semester ended, by chance I get an email in March of 2012. And the email, I'm still in my dark place. I'm inspired, I'm moving around, but I still don't see a purpose to life. I'm over those thoughts that told me that the God wasn't real, that everything was a coincidence, and that this was the best that life is gonna get. I've silenced that voice that pretty much told me to kill myself. That I might as well kill myself, because if God isn't real, then I don't want to live, because I just can't do this life, this reality without what I believe, because what I believe to be true when I was in these streets by myself. The Spirit of God has helped me. So if there's a voice telling me that this spirit isn't real, do I believe this voice or do I believe my experiences? So I held on to my experiences and my beliefs. And so as I'm here, March 2012, I get this email and it says, hi, are you interested in hosting and performing at a youth peace rally? I'm like, it's random. I don't even know who this person is, but why not? Like, I just worked with all these young people for the past, 3 or 4 or 5 years with Young Chicago Authors and Kumbah Links and After School Matters and at the high school, like, why not? And I respond, what are the details, when, where, the details, etc. They respond back, the details, and it was in April at Union Park. This rally was put on by Chicago Public Schools. It was their, I believe, their 3rd annual Youth Peace Day of Service and rally. And as I'm there at Union Park, some of my former students and mentees from the all-girls high school came to meet me there. And as I'm looking out into the crowd of these 3,000 young people with signs, peace signs for peace, they're doing their chants and all these things, I can't help but feel overwhelmed with positivity and overwhelmed with joy. And as I'm talking to these young people, asking questions from the stage, it occurred to me as I bent down to ask this young man a question about Dr. Martin Luther King and peace and the rose of peace, what that means to him, peace in the community. It occurred to me in that moment that it wasn't even about me. That all of my experiences that I've ever had, all the blessings, being blessed to have been, be born on the west side of Chicago, be in foster care for 4.5 years, but still blessed to have these amazing experiences and these mentors and graduate from private school and continue to go forward. That all these times that I was being prepared for this moment to realize that my purpose is to lift up the voices of young people, that my purpose is to serve young people. My purpose is to be a servant of the Lord, and by serving young people and young women. And so it occurred to me in this moment, and when I saw this, when the photographer tagged me on Facebook, this picture, I was like, he caught the moment, because it was in this moment that I realized it's not by chance that I had all these opportunities. It's not by, there is a purpose, and this is it. And the reason why I'm so depressed, is because I was running away from my purpose, because when I stopped teaching at the school and got out of my mentoring program, it's like, okay, I'm going to go to Columbia, I'm going to focus on myself, I'm going to focus on my career, I'm going to blow myself up and do everything I need to do and go back overseas. It wasn't even about me. So as I'm here, and I leave this park, and all the kids are mad, inspired, and like, what's next? And it's like, this wasn't even my rally. But they looking at me like, yo, what's up? So I'm like, okay. And I'm talking to my former mentees from the all-girls high school. They're older now. They're getting ready to graduate from high school that year. And I'm like, I don't know, y'all. It's crazy because, like, I haven't felt this good in a long time. Like, it's been rough. And so in the midst of this is April. In May, I become a team leader at a teen camp. And there I'm working with 95% foster children. And with me formerly used to be a foster child, I can relate to a lot of the sentiments that they feel, a lot of everything that they're going on. It's like, I see you when I see myself. I already know, but guess what? I've learned that you still got to keep moving forward, etc., etc. So long story short, I'm talking to these young people, and we're talking about the violence in Chicago, and they don't see how it relates. They don't see how this could easily be somebody next door to them or even be them. They don't. I'm like, you know what? Okay, we're going to have history lessons, so we would do that. We would talk. And then, on June 28th, in the middle of day camp, I hear about 7-year-old Heaven Sutton getting killed on the west side of Chicago. In front of her, you know, candy stores, candy shop set up, straight bullet. And it was at that moment when I was like, I need to use the little influence that I have, the little resources that I have. Like, if kids are so moved by me and I'm able to have this influence, this positive influence, why not do something about this violence? Like, I don't believe that hip-hop music is the reason why kids are killing kids. I don't believe that, but I can't help but not think that this is a soundtrack to some of the murders that's happening in this city. So what if we get all the kids, think about all the kids at Union Park and more, and inspire them to create like a positive, like a peace movement where not only it's just like in Chicago and across the city, but across the world, where like the youth are rising up, but putting out positive images of them, reframing the media, becoming their own media, changing the narrative through music. What if? So that led me to want to start the Chicago International Youth Peace Movement. I began meeting with different leaders, talking to different people, still working with the young people, and what do I do next? I told Barack Obama in this picture, my name is FM Supreme. I'm a positive hip-hop artist. I want to use positive hip-hop to inspire and promote peace, to encourage young kids in the hood to put the gun. I didn't say put the guns down because that terminology wasn't even there. This is 2013, but this picture's from 2013. And pretty much he's like, yeah, he's like, positive hip hop. I'm like, yeah, he chuckled. I'm like, I'm for real. I'm still for real. So here, after that, so Heaven dies in June 28, 2012. Like I said, we launched the International Youth Peace Movement. We had a release, music video release at the Shrine to promote, and we just said we'll put out positive images and positive songs. So I recorded the music video to my song, "Won't Turn It Back." We launched here in Chicago at the Shrine, and it was like, okay, the word is out. We're partnering with the Black Youth Project, amongst other groups, and then we took it to London and Leeds, England. Thank God for Trinity United Church of Christ who made that happen. And in London and Leeds, after speaking and performing before members of the City Council in Leeds and members of the British Parliament, taught a workshop to the young people from Leeds Young Authors, which is like Young Chicago Authors, it's the UK version. It was just powerful, and there we talked about violence in Chicago in contrast to violence in the UK. How there's gun violence here and gun violence in the States, but they have stabbings there and the fatalities, the fatal numbers of that. So when I got back from the UK, I was working at Holy Family Ministries Elementary School, which is a K-8 Lutheran school in North Lawndale. And Dr. Susan Work is the president and CEO and actually founder of this grammar school. When I got back from the UK in 2012, she told me, I want you to meet my daughter, Jessica. My daughter, Jessica, lives in Thailand. She's been living there for 6 years. She has her own NGO, and I think that you too, she's been wanting to do something with young people in Chicago. I think that there could be a connection, some type of collaboration with you and Jessica. I want you to meet her. I said, okay, cool. Jessica comes to town, we meet, we talk about our experiences, what we're trying to do, what our visions are. And a goal of the Youth Peace Movement for me is I had already been blessed at this point to have been around the world twice. And I was affected by that traveling experience. So if we're going to really empower our young people, then they need to have traveling experiences too. They need to be able, I'm from these same streets. I have the same story. The only difference is I was exposed and I had mentors, and I was very blessed to read. How do we push this message and push this to the community? And so Jessica and I talked, and we talked to John Mosef, who was the chairman of the board at the time of Holy Family Ministries. And we had a 4-way conference, global conference call. She was in Thailand at the time in January 2013. And we decided to create and co-found together the Peace Exchange Chicago Asia, a youth development leadership program. We then partnered with 6 different community organizations to sponsor a young person, a young leader from the South and West Side, and we just studied different forms of violence, different peace leaders. And then we traveled to Southeast Asia, Thailand and Myanmar last December through January 11th of this year to practice peace building techniques with Buddhist monks. In November of 2013, before we left, we produced the first annual, it's not even annual, it's biannual because the next one's next year, but we produced Transform Pain to Power. It was a youth symposium on violence, National Youth Symposium on Violence with young people from all over the country. So it's like, I talk about taking a chance. All these times I was just taking a chance and believing, and now it's like, now I'm seeing the work happen in action. At Pain to Power, we had 225 young people engaged for 6 hours on a Saturday, just ready for what's next, from the panel discussion to people from the mayor's office speaking, people from Cook County Board President's office speaking. It was a very, very powerful experience. And so even these young people were like, well, what's next? And so next for the Peace Exchange after this experience was Asia, but what's next in Chicago? So when we came back from Thailand and Southeast Asia, we created a documentary with Free Spirit Media, and we went around and shared our experiences of what we learned with young people in CPS and different charter schools. As you see, we was able to make some press. Robinson covered us a couple times. ABC covered us, but it wasn't even about the press. It was really about how can we, now knowing what we know, what is poverty the root of all this violence, right? So we go to Myanmar and we look at this country that has been closed off to the West for 50 years in the midst of all of this great poverty, yet their interpersonal crime is not as high, as the statistics show. So we wanted to know, what is it? And then we realized that, we learned that violence is a cultural thing. Gun violence is an American thing. It's very American. In Europe, police only bring out guns when it's really, really serious. It all started with chance. A chance is a possibility or probability of anything happening. I took a chance in 2012 to believe in myself again. I took a chance to believe in a higher purpose. I took a chance to believe in a calling. I took a chance to believe in this vision. I took a chance in the possibility or probability of anything happening, everything happened. That chance got me to this stage where I'm at right now. And I believe that I was able to survive those experiences. See, when I talked about that dark period in my life, I didn't talk about the actual thoughts of suicide and not wanting to live anymore. Able to overcome that, able to speak on it and stand on it and not be confined by it, and knowing that, why am I the only one that feels this way? And then coming out of it and realizing 2 years later that
I wasn't the only one feeling that way. I'm just the only one talking about it. And I think about the people who have taken their own life because they didn't see the purpose. Without a purpose, without meaning, life is nothing. And I was blessed to have a chance to even see and recognize my purpose. By chance, I got that email to do a youth peace rally. Had that email not came through, I probably wouldn't have even known that the universe is trying to send me back to the stage, but not for me this time. So you can know that it has nothing to do with you, that you speaking to somebody, you speaking for so many people right now. And that you're creating a way for so many other voices and people to come behind you. I wasn't humble enough to receive that then, until I was. And that's how I am today. So, that's all I have to say. Take care. Can I do a song for y'all real quick? We can make it, I use our basic. Peace and hugs with a love blanket. More jobs, more education, less prisons, less incarceration, more occupation, less standing around. This is our city, this Jack Town. To all the scholars, that's college bound. I see the vision young and profound. To all the sweet gangster time to turn back. Let's switch lanes, on the right track. Never too late to reach the sky, and you need the courage and the will to fly. Gotta have faith when your back against the wall. We learn how to stand, leap up from the fall. I just sing it all with the gun down, y'all. Write a new song, cause it's time to evolve. Like, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, turn it up. Yeah. No matter what they say, still believe, share and achieve, still believe, we can be, it's our destiny. No matter what they say, still believe, take a chance. Just believe. There's no more talking, just time to do. Hopefully the action change starts with you. No more shooting around like a fool. It's time to work hard and go back to school. We all have a purpose, we all have dreams. Mutually exclusive but not those things. Living life matters, young kings and queens. More than a conqueror, I handle all things. By any means, it's time to reach conflict resolutions in the street. Just cause you and I don't agree, don't make me and you enemies. Get it, bless the child who has their own blood to speak. Hold microphones, committed to peace. Tracking my own feet with the gun down by the end of the phone. Like, yeah. Alright, you gotta wake up with me. No matter what they say, put your hands together, still believe. Dreams can come true. We can achieve. We still believe that we can be what we was gonna be. It's our destiny. No matter what they say, we still believe. Dreams can come true. We can achieve. We still believe that we can be what we was gonna be. It's our destiny. Yeah. Take a chance, y'all. Take a chance. What are you willing to risk? When I took my chance, I ain't have nothing to lose. Bigging it up. Thank y'all.